now Brian has finally made it into his second form. We went from, well, no, this would be your third form, because we went from just like a still frame of whatever to actual still frame of you for a bit. That'll count as one form, because that was just, simply adding a picture. But then we had the what we were doing, which is you recording on a digital camera and emailing me that shit. And now third form, final form is how we figure out to get a perfect 1080p signal to me for OBS. Anyways, guys, you ready to do this show?
Yes.
I am. I'm excited to say welcome, everybody, to the Animeversal Reviews podcast here on the Genreverse Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcast from. Mostly, I'll talk about that in a minute, but also the Genreverse Podcast Network YouTube channel, wherever you get your YouTube channels from. Haha. Anyways, part of the big LRMonline.com family. Go there every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. And yeah, a bunch of social media information down below and on the screen in front of you if you are watching us on YouTube. I'm Kyle Malone. That's Christine. Husbando across the way is Brian, and he is finally in a camera feed, which I'm excited about. We can actually see him, and we don't get surprised when he's wearing like new. That's not new PulpMythos merch, but he's had like new things pop up, and it's just like, wow, that's. I only get to see it in post, but not anymore. How's it going, Brian?
Good, going good.
Yeah. Some of you guys may have heard from Christine and I earlier about this Classroom of the Elite Season 2, Episode 7. We do reactions now, part of AVR. AVR's growing empire within the genreverse. AVR squared is cleverly AVR reactions. There you go. That's how you get two R's there. And you guys should definitely check that out and subscribe for that and more. So some of you may have heard our initial kind of thoughts. Brian, spoiler-free initial thoughts on episode 7.
Good episode. Very busy. A lot going on. Didn't flow like most of the episodes typically flow. But still enjoyable, and it definitely moved the story forward.
It was very, very... I even called it like a breath of fresh air from kind of like the intense moments of the last couple of episodes. And while it's definitely a break from what we've been doing, it's not in a bad way whatsoever. Almost for a moment feels like watching just a standard high school anime. There was a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy up until towards the end, and we'll get to that. Christine, what'd you think about today's episode?
It was good. How do I say it spoiler free? I'll just say it like this. Why do you like him? There we go. Like I don't see it. He's got dead eyes. I just don't.
We got some comments about that.
We'll
get into that. Brian, grade it.
So this one for me was a B+.
Mm-hmm.
A lot lower than last week's, and that mostly has to do with the pacing. I don't know. Usually it wasn't negative. It was just usually these fly by, and I don't even realize. I'm like, the episode's over. This one, I checked my watch a couple times. Like I said, it wasn't a bad thing. It was just, and I think it was because there was literally 5 or 6 different storylines, and we were actually getting stuff with characters we don't typically get on their own, and so therefore it felt a little longer. And I don't know. I just didn't love the pacing.
All right.
No, I felt it was really quick. I don't know. Just I guess it depends on the person, because I was like, damn, that was really fast. Because like before, it felt normal to me, and then like you kept saying that it was super super fast feeling, and then like this episode felt really quick. So I'll give it a B+ as well.
Okay. I'm actually gonna like go against you guys here. I enjoyed how organic this felt. As as a former young person who was at least once put under an extremely stressful situation far away from my normal friends and my family, that even in the dark, stressful kind of times, you still find those moments to laugh, those moments to be human. We get some romance stuff in this episode, and it still felt like a Classroom of the Elite
I knew
episode.
You would love that stuff.
Dude, because it's a school, it's a realistic thing, and that's what on our write-up I've mentioned how this is, all the worst parts of school and being a teenager turned up to 11, but there's still nuggets of truth in there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to give it an A-. I really enjoyed it, and kudos to them for being able to maintain the feel of the show while doing something for the most part really different.
Yeah.
So you guys ready to talk a little bit about some spoilers? Sure. Let's initially go with let me bring up these comments. Steam Buns, Dave, Barlow, Dr. Luca, Timbo, I cannot even begin to try to say that that last name, and Dark Berserk, I think I got everyone. MJW 1697 and Anime Gear. So thanks to all of you guys. Most of you guys pointed out a couple of similar things about Karyazawa and her deal with Ayano Koji. A lot of people reference back to the missing volume 4.5 that was not adapted here in the anime, and state that there is more of a interactions between Ayano Koji and Kei, and that she, while most of them still did agree that her kind of point in this relationship right now, it's not necessarily the there's that pencil. It's not necessarily the healthiest. Well, I had to grab this one from over there because I dropped this one.
Okay.
That it's not the healthiest, but they did say that there's more to it that we didn't get to see in the anime. I likened their relationship because it's toxic, right, Brian? I mean, at this point right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of pointed out the whole, when people were arguing over whether Buffy should love Angel or Spike. It's like the incredibly old guy that's a former murderer, or the incredibly old guy that's a former murderer that also assaulted you in a very, very, very bad way. Not healthy, but allegedly there's more to it. You kind of got to give that up to anime, but I really did think it threw me for a loop. The new girl, Sato, mm-hmm. Admitting her kind of admitting her crush on him. I don't trust her. Do you trust her, Brian?
As we've said, I don't trust anybody at this point. No.
Yeah.
What about you, Christine? What's the, let's be stereotypical. What's your woman's intuition say about Sato?
She's a dumbass.
God. What?
I don't think.
What?
I don't think that there's anything malicious. I don't see it yet, if there is anything, but it just seems more like, why do you like him? And then like the other girl too, like why?
She explained. He
saw him running.
She saw him running.
See?
He got sweaty.
Stupid.
He was like
dumbass.
When I was in shape, when I wasn't a fat ass myself, and I get sweaty, you dig it sometimes.
Not
the
running.
Smell, not the but
maybe if you lift weights or something, but it's like a running thing. I don't know. I don't find it appealing. I don't get it. I don't know. It just.
Okay, well, what about getting into the rom-com game there, Brian? Even though we're skipping a bunch of stuff, it still deals with Ayano Koji and Karizawa Kei. I always feel so odd pronouncing that. The EI sound in the name makes makes me upset when it's that short. It was what I lost the way I was phrasing that question now. The end stuff with the phone call stuff. Like, did that take you out of this at all? Did that mess with your grade?
Yes and no. I mean, it did. Like I said, there were so many plot things happening that to me, the episode felt longer. And the pacing, it didn't feel as focused. I guess that would be a better way to describe it. But no, I knew you would love that as I was watching it. But it was
see our watch list.
It did make them. That's a real genuine, like you said, a high school thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people calling, hey, what are you doing? What's up? And worrying about other people that are talking to him. And I liked it. It does create a little more interesting drama. But I still think he's a character that is going to use that to his advantage.
Oh yeah,
like,
Sato too. Like,
okay, if people okay, I could use that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What about that, Christine? What else do you want to say about Kay and her apparent infatuation with?
That girl's so damaged that she just can't even see someone that is not good for her, and it's again like, why do you like him? Oh my god. It's like grabbing all over you a couple episodes ago, and it just.
Oh yeah, it's toxic. It's not good right now.
You need therapy, okay?
She does.
No.
Like for real, yeah.
I could see that for sure. The other part that I really wanted to talk about, Horikita. It's kind of been like a 3-episode arc, if you will, for her. We've seen her hit rock bottom. Back at the beginning part of the sports festival, and then we've seen her kind of come back and almost save the day, but just kind of get back to good, only to think she was going to lose her accomplishments to have Ayano Koji save her butt with that.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get her taking her first steps in front of everybody instead of trying to get in front of everybody. I've been enjoying this, and her apology her gratitude and thank you moment to Ayano Koji was wonderfully animated, wonderfully acted.
Tone,
yeah,
it was
all
very
of it
different.
was good.
Yeah.
Dude, Christine and I were both just like shocked.
I got that, yeah. Well, yeah.
You're talking to people like before. You wouldn't even do that, and you're actually having healthy conversations
and able to identify shortcomings and move forward with it. And I don't know, man. I love character progression. Brian, you and I have talked about Mushoku Tensei on AVR. You guys can find that here. And Christine loves the show. We just watched the Air's Goblin Slayer episode. It finally is on Crunchyroll, so check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I dug this, man. This is pretty damn good writing. What'd you think, Brian?
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, the sort of taking that leadership role and everyone falling in line, coming up with a strategy. She's been learning from all of her mistakes, and now, like you said, she's being a person. She's willing to interact with people, realizing pushing them. How can you be a leader if you're pushing everyone away? And so she's finally seems to be figuring that out.
Christine, stuff on Horikita?
I agree. You said it. I don't think there's anything to add to that.
No, that works. So let's get at some of the less comfortable stuff, and Ryuen and his deal with Class C, trying to suss out the traitor. He figured out who it was, Manabe. I can't remember her name, but it's something like that. Mata, something like that. She's the one that was bullying her, and her friends were bullying Karyazawa, and it looks basically like Ayano Koji blackmailed her into feeding him information on Class C. Ryuen figures that out. and is trying to suss out who's, Class D's puppet master. As light as this episode was, relatively, holy shit, they show us him beating her face into a desk and the bloody results. One, true to character, it's not really like shocking in any like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. But number two, good dedication to showing the depravity, the violence, showing how messed up it was. It was pretty intense scene, Christine.
Yeah, just like you said, we ended on a dark note with this episode, and I still don't get him. I don't know if I'll ever understand him, but yeah, it was just, as soon as you see the classroom with everyone sitting there and Ryuen talking like this, everyone's terrified of this guy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that we haven't seen yet. I wonder if I don't know. I'd have to maybe one day look into it.
What do you think the obsession with Horikita is? Do you think it's related to her brother? Do you think it's some sort of like she's too good, I gotta break something, I wanted to destroy something beautiful type thing? Like what do you think his deal
I have no idea, but yes, it's so weird to see him single her out. And I know that she knows what's her face from middle school, yeah, but it's like, what does she know about him? Does she know anything? Or because they didn't talk about that, so it's like, I don't know if it's like, very small acquaintance, or they like know of each other but haven't exchanged pleasantries or anything. I don't know.
What do you think, Brian? What's your thoughts on Ryuen and that scene even?
Great scene. First time seeing another class in action, sort of how they do their stuff
without the Class D being involved or around.
I think we're seeing that each class has a different way that they rule and their structure. His is through fear, all the girls shaking, visibly violence. There's multiple times in the episode where it's referred to the best way to accomplish your goals.
Yeah, the best weapon. And I'm like, number one, it's knowledge, and number two, it's communication skills, the ability to convey either knowledge or information, or at least convey the idea of knowledge and information to get people to do things.
And Ayanokoji does it so well. He knows how to manipulate, and he puts his hand in everything and gains all this information, and he does so much with it that we don't even understand. He's always a few steps ahead. So
yeah. Brian?
I kept waiting for a counter argument to that throughout the episode, because it kept being said very specifically, violence. And I was like, violence is useful, but there are better tools. And I don't know. I think there's more to that as far as the storytelling is going. But anyways, as far as that scene and everything, I thought it was great in terms of showing us how they operate.
So Anime Gear says that Ayanokoji explains the four most powerful weapons later, he thinks. So we'll see what else they come up with. It's a tense situation with him. It sounds weird, and in 2022 there's a lot of people that necessarily don't even like seeing certain things even in context. It's one of those uncomfortable conversations even with this show. Violence like that towards females from males, very traditional role model thing, gender role thing of, you don't hit girls and things like that. Showing that these days it's good in a way to remind, one, crap like that still happens, two, to engage in conversations about things like that, and three, just to, even in a way, so long as it's not gratuitous and it fits the character and situation, to remind us of how uncomfortable those things make us, which is a good thing.
Let villains be villains.
Yeah, exactly. Not every villain needs to be
redeemable
or tragically a villain. It's okay to have bad guys. Be bad.
Yeah,
be bad
you don't have
guys.
to always explore gray area. Sometimes just people are awful.
Yeah. I guess one last. Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt, Brian?
No.
Okay.
I'll wait to see what you say because I did have one thing.
Oh, I was gonna go on to Kushida.
Okay, go ahead. There was one more thing I didn't know if you wanted to talk about.
I just wanted to at least bring up. We do hear a bit about a potential of Kushida's background, which is this tearing up of a room. Looks like vandalism. Somebody threw a fit. Tears things up, marks on the walls, and it was rumored to be Kushida, and that's kind of the nugget of info we got from Horikita about their past in middle school. And I was just kind of wondering what you guys thought about that story and Kushida.
I don't know. We already know she's freaking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what caused her little meltdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were commenting about how could someone destroy a whole classroom? It's like easily. Toddlers can destroy a whole classroom if they wanted to, that size.
Yeah.
They can destroy a room easily. We've seen it. Anyone who has kids would know. So yeah, it was just kind of like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to figure out why.
What you make of it, Brian? You work with kids.
It is possible. But I thought, and this is how my brain works. That exact scene, because he brought up the violence thing. I thought they were going to go the route of I'm a big fan of the first Conan movie when Thulsa Doom tells Conan, he's like, still isn't the best weapon. Flesh is. The act of getting people to do your will. And so I was thinking they were going to say she didn't do it. She had people do it. And that's where but like I said, that was my Conan brain. But the idea that commanding others' loyalty is more powerful than, if she did it herself. But she could have. That might be the story. I have absolutely seen young people destroy a lot of things that you wouldn't expect them to be able to destroy.
You think there might be a reason behind it? Like she was bullied, abused?
That's what's puzzling about the character. Like she's clearly damaged, but the question is it just for fun? Or is there
she a sociopath?
Yeah. Or is there something more that goes further back?
I called her a psychopath earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where you're leaning, Christine? Is she just crazy, or do you think she's damaged by something externally, like just justifiably damaged, if that makes sense?
No, I think that it's like something that's just in her,
just wrong.
Yeah,
sewn back together wrong. I love that song. That is such a Death Clock is unfortunately that cartoon fortunately and unfortunately the state of metal. The Death albums were like some of the best metal we got. Legit.
I listened to them all the time.
In years.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I still will put on the Death albums, and it was just kind of like the state of metal right now.
Mermaider, that's my jam.
I always like a briefcase full of guts and blood recuted.
That one's awesome.
I love that
one.
Laser Cannon death sentence, though, is by far one of the
beautiful
best.
Yes.
One of the
I love that episode. Oh my god.
Are we getting a movie?
Man.
Like a
allegedly
movie?
Yeah.
If Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't cancel it.
I hope so.
Oh, Brian, what was the other thing you wanted to bring up?
So it's brief. They don't go into any detail. The scene just happens. There's no follow-up. New class president.
Oh yeah,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. One of the commenters had said, clarified what the whole thing about meritocracy was. Basically, the new president kind of doesn't like the way things are in the school, how much it pits people against each other, and how people can drag you down. If your whole class floats, a shitbag can float, and if your whole class sinks, you could be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you're gonna sink too. And he wants to make it more individual meritocracy. So I don't know.
When I saw the blonde hair, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said the same thing.
Yeah, he had that facial expression like, I don't know. He's probably not up. He's probably up to no good. I don't know.
If this was set like in some like training school for ninja or something, you'd be silver haired, wouldn't you? you'd be a bad guy. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what shakes loose of that. I do know one thing I also appreciated in this episode kind of reminds me of like the girls' bathroom episode or locker room episode from season 1 of adding a bunch of side characters in important ways. It fleshed out the school. It made it feel more full, real again. Characters that are brought in once every 4 or 5 episodes. Characters that you haven't seen before, but they'll connect back in a different way. It reminded me of like the group of kids that the whole school knew versus the group of kids that whole year, that whole class knew, the class of 06 or the class of 03. I dug that. Do you guys feel like the world feels lived in, like full of characters? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, hell, you have 20 plus characters speaking in an episode now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Too many for me to keep total track of. So any final thoughts on episode 7?
No, I think we touch on everything? Yeah, I think we did.
I think we got it, guys. Let us know what you thought of the episode down in the comments below. Thank you to everyone that has been subscribing. We're up to 379 now, so thank you for that and for joining us in the conversations. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that red subscribe button and check out the AVR squared reactions. Christine and I are doing Violet Evergarden in addition to this, but that is definitely going much more slow. See the first review of that or my 86 review to find out why it's moving slow. We got a lot of really other great content, genre shot trailer reactions, Daily Cup of Genre and Breaking Geek Radio cover a little bit of everything in geek and pop culture news, whatever's big in all of it. So it could be DC and Star Trek one day, could be gaming and Marvel the next. Movie and show reviews there as well. The Cantina does Star Wars news and reviews. Look for our Andor reviews starting next month. And Marvel Multiverse Mayhem is the Marvel version of the Cantina, and we'll be doing She-Hulk starting this week, which I am cautiously excited about. Very cautiously, because Phase 4 has been.
Yeah, I don't care at all right now.
So yeah, all of those go up where generally wherever you get your podcast from, but we are in the process of migrating distribution. So Spotify and Apple and Google all have most everything, but if you need the latest and greatest, head over to SoundCloud for the immediate moment, and I'll let you know when we've got all the migration sorted out. LRMonline.com. Go there every day for all your entertainment news needs and opinions. And yeah, Brian, tell them about your stuff.
Channel's PulpMythos. Currently reviewing A City on a Hill, and we'll be doing the new Game of Thrones series starting next week.
Ooh, how are you feeling about that one, Brian?
I've heard good buzz. Some people have seen the first episode. It's got a lot of actors I enjoy, so here's hoping.
There you go. All right. We'll see you guys next week, I guess. Next week. Yep. Bye.